So today, I like to thank the people who comment, because all last week I kept getting this stuff on Japan, and you made me work over the weekend to put it together, and then on Sunday, everything explodes around the world. Guess what on? Japan. So what's everyone saying? So Financial Times has a huge article today. I'm not going to publish it all or put it up here, but basically all the stuff we were talking about. They believe that this is a redefining, okay, a reset with the United States. They do not say how it's going to come down at all. Now, for the people who follow me, we did the 5 factors on Japan, and I believe that the 5 factors clearly show, in my very humble opinion, that they're going to have to cut a deal with the United States. Now, and again, remember how we started that whole video off. Countries are going to have 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10-year plans. I'm not worried about the 1 year plan. It's down the road. This is not, we're not solving for the next 6 months. That's not the issue. We're solving for the new era that we're entering into, and this era is going to be transitioning for the next 15 years. So I understand, yes, and all the commentators that are saying that they have to cut a deal with this, I agree 1,000%. Couldn't agree more with you. But that's not what I'm worried about, okay? So the lead story on the Asian Times today is, guess what? That tariff man trashes Japan 2025. Why Trump's tariffs could hurt Japan. I didn't post this one. You can go to Asia Times, but guess what? It's all what we talked about Saturday and Sunday. It's almost verbatim, okay? So, again, I'm not the only one, nor were the commentators asking me to comment on this, the only ones who noticed what's going on. So, when you look at this, you say, we have a lot of cards in our hands, the Americans, okay? I get it. But look at Japan, all right? 1, they're the biggest holder of U.S. Treasuries. 2, they have the most bases, 12, the most armed forces of America, 50 to 60,000. They're our #1 deterrent against China. And we are hurting them, as you can see. I'm not the only one saying this. So do they have the ability to put together a, security, trade, and, all this other stuff and have a good deal cut for them? I don't know. When you read the articles, especially in Japan, right now, they're in no mood to talk to us. So we'll see what happens. But some other people came out and commented on things that we did not talk about yet. See, we talked about it, but we talked about it in a roundabout way, and that is the 30-year bond. So the 30-year bond today, now they have it here at 314.5. Well, it's 317, okay? Yesterday when we did the video, if you remember, we were like 304, okay? So this is a huge move, and this is the highest level seen since 2000. And you can see here today that we have now superseded the high, all right? And you say, so what? They're going up. Okay, so let's think about this for a second. Let's just say on January 1st, you owned the U.S. Treasury bond, 30-year, or 10-year at 440, okay? And now here we are 6 months later. You have earned half, so 220, okay, on your bond. And guess what? You just lost 12% on the U.S. dollar. So you just lost 9.5%. So when you think of big institutions investing throughout the world, which we have said, it's not you and me, it doesn't matter. We're talking to people who invest $1 trillion, $800 billion, and all this other stuff. When they look around and they're holding the U.S. dollar, and then they look at the Japanese yen and they sit there and say, well, listen, the U.S. wants the dollar to go down. The Japanese certainly don't want the yen to go up too high, but it's going to go up, all right? And before the tariffs, Udita, the BOJ guy, had laid out he's going to be raising the interest rates. So think about the comparison that you have. You have now a 3.17 yield on the fourth largest currency in the world, okay? So, i.e., good liquidity. The big institutions are used to dealing in the yen because there's not one institution in the world that's not in the yen carry trade. And so, for the first time in maybe 30 or 40 years, we now have a competitor to the U.S. 10-year bond or long bonds. And guess what? It's the Japanese yen. And so this has huge implications because, one, if you're Japanese, and we all know they're one of the, and we're talking about people, institutions, insurance companies, they're some of the biggest holders of U.S. Government bonds. So why wouldn't they sell them since the U.S. government is definitely driving down the dollar? You have the Japanese yen, which is going to go up because the American authorities are demanding that the Japanese yen goes up. You have Udita, who wants to raise the interest rates because they have a 3.7 inflation rate, and their rates are, whatever, 25 basis points, 150 on the 10-year and 317 now on the 30-year. So they have negative real rates wherever you look. So I would say the rates are going to go up. The yen is going to go up. With the dollar, the administration is screaming they want the rates to go down, and more importantly, they want the dollar to go down. So are we now going to be faced with really stiff competition for the dollar? And remember something, everybody in the world knows that everyone's trying to get out of TINA. There is no other alternative when it comes to the dollar. But the dollar is being sold, as we know, by all the central banks, all the big institutions, and it's not a lot, but it's putting pressure on the dollar. I don't know Endgame Macro. I do follow him. I do read him. He writes long missives. I think, he seems to be very knowledgeable. Where he came from, who he is, I'll be honest, I do not know. But I do read him, and I thought what he wrote yesterday was interesting. And last night, and this is what he said, hey, the Japanese 30-year bond breaking above 3.1, it's now 3.17, is a globally destabilizing signal. For the first time in decades, Japan is offering long end yields that rival U.S. Treasuries. That shift matters because global capital, especially institutional capital, this is what we're talking about, the big money, is ultimately yield sensitive and opportunistic. And while Japan has historically never absorbed sustained flows away from the U.S. debt market, this moment is different. Their yield curve is de-anchoring towards the exact moment the U.S. faces massive issuance needs and weakening foreign demand, which is what we have said before. And as we stated, the Treasuries, they're going to just be issuing 4, 6, and 8 week bills because it's thick, as they say. That's where the demand is, not on the long end. They don't want to pressure the long end, and so they're not going to be issuing any long-term bond. Remember, this Bessent was the one who criticized Yellen for doing 23% short end. He wants to do basically 100%. So he believes that because of the JGB yields, we're entering a new phase of monetary geopolitics. It's not just about interest rates. It's about yield differentials and liquidity illusion. And so we have to adapt to this fact that we now have a healthy competitor for our yields. Now, one of the base tenets that we've had on this channel is that all the governments need money, right? Remember that video? And so thereby, they will pay up to get that money, i.e. with interest. So what do you think? Are interest rates going down? Are people going to leave us and go to the yen? What do you think? Tell me in the comments, and like and follow. And by the way, thank you for making me look into the yen.